57 degrees in downtown Sylacauga. Just a non-typical December day. Clouds and 75 degrees today. And Dr. Todd Freeman, the Sylacauga High School and Sylacauga City Board of Education, joins us this morning. And Dr. Freeman, good morning and Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Good morning, Jimmy Dale. Merry Christmas to you.
You know, we got a nice gift just a few days ago, and I want you to talk about this. It's been long talked about, doing something, remodeling of Legion Stadium in Sylacauga, and looks like we're on the right track.
That's right, Jimmy Dale. We're really excited about some opportunities at Legion Stadium, and that stadium has served our community for 67 plus years.
It's older than me.
Well, and I'm not far behind you. It's a beautiful stadium, got much historic value. There have been a lot of wonderful things that have happened there, both from the Sylacauga High and B.B. Comer perspectives and in the community. So we've made it to a point where we're ready to take some steps toward renovating that stadium and doing some additions to it to modernize it and move it forward, you know, for many years in the future.
And it takes a collaborative effort to get this type of project done.
Yeah, you're right. I appreciate you bringing that up. The partnership that started Legion Stadium, we want to really continue that partnership with Talladega County Schools, and Dr. Suzanne Lacey and I have been working very closely together on this for a while, and they're committed to the project as we are. The community, the city council, as you know, approved an ordinance for the 9.5 mil tax election to take place February 24th, and that's a great partnership we have with the city council. So if we're able to get that election voted in the favor of advancing that 9.5 mil tax, 25 additional years, then we'll be able to do a substantial renovation with our partnership with Talladega County.
Talk a little bit about the remodeling and what we're going to be doing if everything works the way it should over at the stadium.
Yes, sir. Our plans are to do a significant renovation. The home side bleachers, the skeleton of the bleachers themselves are in good shape, but the brick facade we'll be replacing. We'll be replacing the bleachers and doing some sealing work on that home side to keep the drainage and to prevent some of the drainage problems we've had. We'll put new bleachers in. We'll expand the walking entrance on the front of the bleachers to give us more room there. We're going to expand the press box.
Yay!
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So it will be a much better facility there. We'll move our concession stand out. We'll actually put it in the portico beside where the Calvin Fieldhouse is. And so we'll move all the things in that direction, renovate our bathrooms and the inside of the stadium. The visitor side would have a new entrance on the south side of the stadium, and they would enter in and be able to go over to their side where there will be concessions and bathrooms. And we'll also have visitor dressing rooms that can also function for our soccer and track programs during the spring. We plan some additional parking on the north side of the end zone, and we're looking at the potential of some additional parking on 4th Street as well. And you know, one of the great highlights of it right now is we're looking to put a new performance turf on our field, which we think will be exceptional because it stands the test of time in terms of weathering. And then we'll put lights on our soccer field and a lot of other smaller details within the scope of the project.
Mm-hmm. This is just one of a number of projects that is going on within our city educational system, and I know you're excited about the progress.
Well, I am, Jimmy Dale, and we've had some good opportunities over the last 4 years in Sylacauga City Schools to do some renovations at all of our campuses, and we most recently bid a third phase of the high school, which is a renovation to our 2 gyms and an expansion and renovation to our library. So that'll start after the first of the year. We're finishing up the phase 2 at the high school, and we do in fact plan to put a roof on that, and I anticipate over the next month that's going to take place. The bid that we took on the third phase actually came in below our budget by about $400,000. And then, as you know, we've purchased are about to purchase the bank property, First National Frontier Bank property, which will be our Board of Education office. And we decided to do that in lieu of a new building because it would save us about $1 million, which we can invest back in the high school and other projects that we have.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Todd Freeman, Superintendent of the Sylacauga City Board of Education, our guest this morning. And going back to the stadium just for a moment, and we can also talk about the new facility or new building where the Board of Education offices will be moving to, which is right across the street from us in downtown Sylacauga. Do you have kind of dates as when you'd like to see some of these things done?
Yes, sir. We would start at the beginning of the year with some design work on the central office, which would be at the bank building, and we'll occupy the second floor offices. That's where our central office will be. And the first floor, we're still working on some concepts for that. But I am hopeful that by the summer we're able to be in that building. This is long since overdue for us to do that. I also think that phase 3 at the high school will begin at the beginning of the year, and that's going to take us about a year to complete. We really want to get that done so we don't have too much of a disruption in our library and our basketball programs the following year. But construction does take time, unfortunately, longer than you want it to sometimes.
Do we have a tentative date as to when we'd like to see the stadium progress to?
Yes, sir. Good question. Yeah, provided the voters would vote for extending the tax.
And that's coming up real soon,
yes,
too.
in fact it is. The City Council authorized it for an election on February 24th, and provided the citizens vote for the extension, we would start a refinancing that would take place. And that refinancing, Jimmy Dale, would be on a 2005 bond issue, and the refinancing alone saves us $1 million. So automatically we have that $1 million plus a commitment from Talladega County and some new money that we'll start, and we'll do our design work and preparation, and it would be our plan to start the stadium work at the conclusion of next year's football season.
Wow, that is a lot of progress being made, and the kids getting ready for the holiday break,
sir.
And it's a busy December, isn't it?
It is, and our schools have got a lot of things going on. We've got a big science fair at our middle school next week. There was a big event, fitness event at Pinecrest this week, and we'll have a lot of different performances. Our band and choirs will be performing next week at the high school, and then on top of that, they're doing schoolwork. So we're working getting our test at the high school, and middle school's getting their test for the end of the semester taken care of. So there will be no slowdown of activity on our campuses.
And of course, 2015 is upon us too, and long-range planning is always of the uttermost importance.
It is, and we try to stay ahead on our budgets and what we're planning for our program. So we do have a long-range capital planning budget that we look as far as 35 years out to the things that we want to try to accomplish. And I think that's very important that we can see the big picture, particularly when you're talking about extending a property tax. And we're working on that, and we also try to stay ahead of our general fund budget to make some predictions about what we can expect in terms of revenues and programs that we want to create, things of that nature, because planning is the most critical thing we can be doing, so our programs, and most especially our students, do not lose anything that we ought to be providing for them.
And this tax is not a new tax, it's just extending it out.
Yeah, that's right, very well said. Nobody in the city will pay additional tax. They'll pay the existing tax of the 18.5 mills. The 9 mil portion of that's permanent. The 9.5 mil portion that the city voted on in May of 2000 will expire in 2024. If the voters approve to extend that, it would be extended 25 additional years to 2049.
Speak, Dr. Freeman, if you would, the final few minutes with Dr. Todd Freeman, Superintendent of the Sylacauga City Board of Education. Thank him for joining us this morning. Speak to how you present the Sylacauga City School System to people who are businesses or opportunities for families moving into this area?
Yeah. Well, we certainly have a lot of things to be proud of in our system, and I share a lot of times in conversations about the great work that's taking place, and I'll give you some examples of things. Our career technical programs, I think, are phenomenal. I think the work that's being done at our high school, middle school, in preparing our students for career choices is impressive. In the last couple of years, we have vastly expanded our advanced placement program and our college prep program called AVID at our middle school and now at our high school. We have phenomenal elementary schools that are doing some really good things in terms of their academics and preparing our kids as it relates to reading and mathematics. And you know, they're doing all this, our teachers are, despite a lot of pressure and a lot of accountability that is thrust upon the public schools today. But I can assure you, with limited resources, and I will tell you that over the past 5 years, the Sylacauga City Schools receives about $800,000 less than it did in times before that, and still operating very well. So I like to talk about how we are efficient and we're effective in the programs that we are providing for our students. And more than anything, what you'll hear about Sylacauga City Schools is the idea of family and promoting that closeness of family with the school and community. And I think that's a great selling point for our schools.
I think just with my grandson Zach being in preschool over at Indian Valley, you see, and this is the first time I've seen this in a long time. I'm actually parenting again, but you see those educators, they're really hands-on, and they really are working closely with the students, whether they're preschool or seniors in high school.
Yeah, I've sat in many classes over this past year and a half that I've been here, and it's if you want to bring some cheer to your life, go to a kindergarten class or a pre-K class, go to a third grade class, and watch those kids be so engaged, and those teachers just loving on those kids and teaching them and talking to them about values and about the importance of education. There's a lot of good work taking place like that in our schools.
Okay. All right. Dr. Todd Freeman, Superintendent of Sylacauga City Board of Education, sharing this morning about some exciting times with the school system and education here in our community. Final 60 seconds. I know you want to wish everybody a happy holiday season.
I do. I hope it's a wonderful holiday, and we'll celebrate in a lot of different ways in our schools, but as I was telling the high school students earlier this week that we did a tree trimming with, it's always important to be reflective and keep in mind what the purpose of the season is and why we celebrate this time. And it's a season of giving, and I can't think of any better way to feel good about oneself than to give to community, to others less fortunate than you are. That's how you celebrate the holidays. So I wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas to you and your family as well. Dr. Todd Freeman, Superintendent of the Sylacauga City Board of Education, our guest this morning on Daybreak. We've got more to do right after this.